The opinions expressed in this video reflect the opinions of the participants only and do not reflect the opinions of the producer or the University of Southern California School of Law. The University of Southern California School of Law and/or the University of Southern California in no way endorse this video. The oldest law school in the southwestern United States, the Gould School of Law at USC, traces its roots to 1896 and officially became a school of USC in 1904. From its humble beginnings, USC has moved to national prominence, boasting one of the 10 largest private law school endowments in the nation, valued at over $100 million. The U.S. News & World Report Law School rankings for 2010 place USC as the 18th top law school in the nation. Gould is not a large law school with approximately 600 full-time JD students and a growing LLM class, currently at about 70 annually. This relatively small class size is among the most diverse in the country, however, with approximately 40% of students identifying themselves as an ethnic minority. Also, nearly half are women. Additionally, the school maintains an 11.5 to 1 student-to-faculty ratio, allowing for a collegial feel. Although USC has a strong national reputation, approximately 87% of students remain in California after graduation. The school's location in South Central Los Angeles is a source of concern for some, but the USC campus is incredibly beautiful and centrally located with downtown minutes away and the beach about 20 minutes away, traffic permitting. Students can live in school-provided law school housing or get their own apartments. Let's meet some students.
My name is Grace Hua. I'm from Orange County. I went to school at UC San Diego as a visual arts major and decided to come to law school because I wanted to do something more hands-on in pursuing social justice.
My name is Doreen Anthony. I'm a 2L at USC. A little bit about myself. I'm originally from Los Angeles. I went to USC for undergrad. I'm from the local community, and I chose USC because it is in LA. That's where I want to practice law. And also I wanted to do criminal law, and I thought that their program here was good.
My name's Ruby Mejia. I'm a 2L, just finished my finals, so I'm officially a 3L. I was born and raised in LA. I live maybe 20 minutes from campus. I went to UCLA undergrad, and I'm here.
So my name is Mark Berman. I'm a 2L. We just finished our second year, so incoming 3L. I grew up in the Bay Area and went to undergrad out east at Georgetown. And then took a couple years off in between law school and undergrad. I decided on SC. One of my best friends from growing up came here, and he just had an awesome time. Law school, law school is daunting. It's a means to an end. It's what you've got to go through to become a lawyer, and you don't think that it's going to be that fun. But just watching him, talking with him while he was here, he seemed to have a ton of fun. Did really well, and he was never that big into academics before he got here. And so I figured I'd give it a shot.
My name is Tin Nguyen. I'm from Cerritos, which is a little further south of here. I went to Cal for my undergrad, and I chose USC for a lot of reasons. I talked to a couple people here, a couple of deans and a couple of students before I came here. They just had glowing reviews of the school, and quite honestly, the financial aid package was really generous.
Why do you want to be a lawyer?
I think I kind of always knew that I was interested in law. I'm interested in politics, and law and politics kind of come hand in hand, and so I kind of always knew pretty much from high school that I wanted to go to law school.
I want to be a public defender, and right now Los Angeles County has the largest and best public defender's office. So staying in LA is going to be the best option for me. Also, I'm particularly interested in gang issues and serving gang youth and dealing with rehabilitation with regard to gang members.
Well, I grew up in Pico Union, which is primarily Latino, low socioeconomic section in LA, and I've always been pretty disturbed by some of the policies and legislation that California passes, and so I want to be a public defender, and hopefully, I don't know how much change I'm gonna affect, but hopefully I can affect some change. So.
What kinds of careers are your fellow students looking for?
There's a lot of students who are interested in public interest work and criminal law, and I think just public interest work in general. And so criminal law is just, the PD's office is so big that you can get a job there, so it's a great place to start out.
Most people at USC Law, just like in other law schools, will go into law firms and different corporate jobs. A small percentage of people will go into public interest, somewhere about between 2 to maybe 4%.
How have you found your fellow students?
Everyone's really active, they're really involved, I think we put in a lot of community service hours too, and pro bono hours during the school year. We're just really good people, I think. And I think USC really does attract just really genuinely good people to come to this law school. We're not as competitive. I mean, there's really smart students here, but I think that other law schools, you really compete to get outlines or to get class notes and just really cutthroat. Here, I mean, there's gunners that always want to answer questions in class, but it's not like they're ever going to deny you like notes or outlines or whatever. Everyone shares everything here.
Everybody's so friendly. The conversations that you have with kids that, of totally different backgrounds, political persuasions, whatever, you never know where you're going to be, and you can just get into a really interesting conversation. And everybody's open-minded, open to disagreeing, but open to at least having a discussion about it. So no, without a doubt, the students at SC, I just wrote this to our incoming dean 2 days ago. I mean, the students at SC are what makes it so great.
My best friends here in LA are my fellow law students, people that I've grown really close to through our experiences, through going on spring break trips together to New Orleans and Mississippi to do legal aid projects. And because of that, we spent a lot of time together doing pretty much anything, hanging out, barbecuing at the house, going out on hikes and whatnot. And so your whole life, you can really find a community and deep friendship at the law school.
How have you found the social life of the school?
The classes are really small, so the students tend to know each other very well.
Right.
So on a weekend, it's a good chance to like go to Vegas or go to San Diego or something with a group of friends, because mostly everyone's close with each other.
Right.
So hanging around the law school when you don't have work to do, or you're not studying for exams.
You're here so
is
often.
not cool.
The law school provides a lot of social outings for law students to get to know each other and to get together. We have what's called bar review, and I think it's every Thursday, people go out and get to know the different bars in the different areas in the LA community, the different scenes, and the law school, the student organizations facilitate that.
Can you describe your experience with the faculty?
The faculty's awesome. They're awesome in the sense that they're always open to you coming in and talking to them if you have questions. This past year I was on law review, and we had to write a note, which is a 40 to 60 page academic article, and you have a faculty advisor. And I'd trade emails with my faculty advisor up till 10 o'clock at night. If she was around and there's no 9 to 5 at USC Law School.
We have some really good, especially good criminal law professors that teach criminal procedure, that teach criminal law, such as Professor Whitebread, who's very well known.
I think the one thing that makes a difference is the administration and the people that are in the school really working for you. And I think USC top, I haven't been to any other law school, but I can say that the administration here probably tops them all, because they're just amazing here.
Is USC heavily Socratic?
Different teachers, I've had some teachers teach strict Socratic method. I've had some, like Professor Bice, I wish he could teach every class. I've had some teachers not teach by the Socratic method at all, and then some teachers have their own version of the Socratic method. I like the Socratic method. I think it's scary at first, and I definitely didn't like it coming into law school, but it forces you to do your reading, which is a good thing. When you're forced to do your reading, it's amazing how much easier it is to study for finals when you don't have to look back and read 450 pages of civil procedure in 3 days.
I don't think USC in general is that Socratic.
There are a couple professors who are.
Yeah, there are professors who are, but I think in general as a school, most of our professors kind of like a class discussion where people probably are willing to participate in the class. They won't we call it cold calling, when the professor just Miss Anthony, Miss Anthony, what is blah, 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 and then you're kind of just on the spot have to answer it. Most of the professors kind of tend to want students to kind of be free about the lecture and to have a discussion with them. So there are a few professors who do the Socratic method.
Especially during the first year. First year, they try to do that a lot more often. Second and third years, I think everybody always has something to say, so it's never really a problem in terms of participation.
It depends on the professor. Some professors don't call on you, Vice calls on you all the time, but some don't. And some tell you, oh, well, you know what, I'm gonna have a panel system, so I'm gonna tell you the day before, 2 days before, that if you're gonna get called on or not. And it's 5 students that get called on that day, and that's it. but I mean, it really depends on the professor.
How would you describe the workload?
Academically, it's been challenging, but the infrastructure at SC is such that, you know, anytime you have a question, there's somebody to ask, whether it's somebody in the administration or it's a student, a 2L or a 3L. So that hasn't been, that's been better, I'd say, than I expected it to be, just because everyone's so friendly and so willing to help each other out.
First year is pretty much going to be the same any law school you go to. You're going to be taking the same classes. The school chooses the classes for you. You're pretty much in class from like 8 to 2 maybe, almost every day, both semesters your first year. And it's frustrating because unless you know someone in the legal field, it's like learning another language. You're not going to know how to read the casebook properly in order to really prepare yourself for a final. And it's just things that you learn along the way. And so I think first year is frustrating just for everyone, period. But I think it gets better. I mean, second year, you're a lot busier, but the classes aren't as demanding, I don't think, simply because you already know like how to study for them. But you are busier with notes or being on moot court or other honors programs, being on like sitting on boards for student orgs and so on and so forth. So you are busier.
The first year is pretty grueling. Honestly, like you're taking a lot of units, you're taking a lot of classes, you're learning in a way you've never, been exposed to before.
Yeah.
So the first year, it's a very, very harsh learning curve. After that, it eases up a lot.
Can you describe your experience with the USC Alumni Network?
They always talk about the Trojan family and how the network's really like, it's almost like a cult because they do like really help you get jobs. But the network of students here is also really good. I knew coming in that I wanted to work at the public defender's office. I met students that had worked at the public defender's office their first summer. And so they're like, contact this attorney, send in your resume by this date, this is what you have to do. I did, I got a job my first summer at the public defender's office and it was amazing.
Can you tell us about the USC campus?
USC's campus isn't like
tiny.
overly big. Yeah, it's not
Right.
a huge campus.
Right.
Like we have a lot of different schools here. But in terms of like actual area space that we take up, it's not that much.
Yeah, it'll take you 10 minutes to walk across campus. Like,
Yeah.
I came from Berkeley, and that's huge. It'll take 20 minutes to get from one side to the other,
Yeah.
plus the hills. Like, USC is great in that it's very flat, and
Yeah.
it's just such a small school, and it's it's a beautiful campus. It's nice to walk through.
Everything that's related to the law school, our admissions office, financial aid office, the classes, faculty offices are all inside one central building.
There's a cafe in the downstairs area.
Yeah, there's a cafe for students who, if you have to eat in between classes or in between studying, there's a cafe right there.
Is the campus safe?
USC is located in South Central Los Angeles, and because of that, there are a lot of poor communities. There's a lot of potential crime in the area, but USC puts in a lot of efforts to reduce the crime rate, to educate students about what they can do to protect themselves, and overall, there's campus police. There are a lot of resources available.
People say that the area around USC is scary, but I don't think so. I think that it's fine. I mean, I've never had issues with living around here or coming to school here. Like, I feel really safe on campus, actually. So.
Where do students tend to live in comparison to the campus?
I think for most of the 1Ls, especially if you're not from Los Angeles, they live on campus. USC Law School has on-campus housing at Terrace, which is maybe, a 5-minute walk from here. So
Yeah.
for most 1Ls out of state, that's where they stay. They usually, bicycle it to campus or walk. Most of the 2Ls or 3Ls, you're already used to the neighborhood. You
Yeah.
find a place somewhere nearby or downtown, or you'll do a roommate thing and find some place in West LA area.
Right.
Culver City, downtown. Those
I
are
live
some
in-
popular areas.
Yeah. So I think, your first year you do tend to stay close to campus. It's a lot
Yeah.
easier. I mean, because a lot of the classes are so early in the morning, it just helps as well. I live on the east side of LA. I live in Los Feliz, and that's kind of like the hipster artsy community.
Yeah.
And so there are a lot of great places to go there that are cheap. That's really important.
I've lived in the area for the past 2 years and have not found a single problem with it. The other students choose to live closer to the west side of Los Angeles, which requires a commute of maybe 25 to 40 minutes, depending on where they choose to live. But overall, commuting or living close and riding your bike, either way, it's a great option.
How do you like Los Angeles?
I thought I would hate it, but I actually really like it.
You fall in love with it after a while. Like, LA is a great place to be. I mean, you could drive a little bit north and you're like in a completely different climate. Like, there's snow not far away, there's beach on the opposite end. So you're kind of, I think it kind of grows on you a little bit.
LA has a lot to offer, I think, and just other cities that are close by. Long Beach has really cool things to do. Santa Monica has really cool things to do. So there's a lot to do here.
There's a lot of outdoor activity available. There's the beach, of course. There are a lot of different scenes in LA, different cultures, different artistic venues and whatnot to do. So because of that, there's a diversity in options.
Is there truth to the Hollywood myth about Los Angeles?
The perception that people get from TV about LA being Hollywood, that's people outside of LA coming in and trying to fit what they see on TV.
Yeah.
But the people who are really from Los Angeles aren't
people
like,
who
if you're
actually live
originally
here.
from here, you don't act like that.
No.
My lifestyle is definitely nothing like living on Rodeo Drive or whatever and driving the convertible, nothing like that. I mean, I love the beach, yeah. Growing up in LA, you love that. I love the fact that it's sunny, but I think we're really laid back. I think when we go out to clubs, we like to go to clubs that, you lounge and it's just really cool people and Los Feliz, whatever, but posers or people that try to pretend to be something else, I think most native people aren't like that.
LA does have a focus on how you look, what you wear, what you own and whatnot, but that really depends on what part of LA you choose to live in. If you go closer to the west side, it's much more affluent, and just like any other affluent community, there's going to be an emphasis on your material possessions. There are a lot of affluent students in the undergraduate particularly, but at the law school itself, there's a great diversity in the different backgrounds that students have and what they bring to the law school. So it's a lot less of that.
Saturday I was at a party and Lloyd from Entourage was there. For those of you who watch Entourage, you'll know what I'm talking about. And that stuff happens and it's hilarious. I mean, it's not hilarious, it's kind of neat when it does. But I mean, LA's, 10 million people or something like that. I mean, there's while the industry, the entertainment industry is a big part of LA, there's so many different parts of LA, and there's East Los Angeles and the southern Hermosa Beach and Manhattan Beach communities, and there's the West Side. There's so much to LA that if you like Hollywood and that's what you're into, there's no shortage of clubs to go to and no shortage of kind of chic little bars and restaurants. But if you're not really into that, there's a million other things to do.
Do you need a car to go to school here?
I don't have a car here. I have a public transit. I have a bus pass, which works on the metro and the rail. And I think I'm like one of 5 people at this school who doesn't have a car.
Yeah.
And I actually love it. I save a lot of money. Gas is insanely high, and it's not that hard to get around in the city without a car. And they're spending a lot more money on increasing public transportation and buses and things like that.
Yeah.
So within, I think, the next 5-10 years, it's just going to be so much easier than it is now.
How serious is the USC-UCLA rivalry?
There's a football rivalry because we beat them, but it's fun. I mean, I worked at a law firm this past summer, a small law firm, and the other summer associate was from UCLA, and we're great friends. And so, I mean, there's no rivalry at all. We're happy to be at SC, they're happy to be at UCLA. We get different experiences. They'd like to have our football program, and we'd like to have their basketball program, and we're trying. But other than that, it's pretty friendly.
Some of my friends call me a traitor for coming here because I went there for undergrad. The thing is, you stay loyal with the undergrad you went to, especially if it has a big football team and you're talking about football. I'm always going to be loyal to UCLA football. So, yeah.
What kind of person might not be happy here?
If you're someone who likes a lot of homogeny, who maybe wants a quieter setting, then this may not be the best place for you.
I think you have to be really outgoing, especially, I mean, just the fact that you're in LA, it's a really big city, it's urban, and if you're not really outgoing, I don't know if you're necessarily going to be comfortable in the city. And I think USC as well, I think the students here, like I mentioned before, I don't know anyone who wasn't really active this year, and so you just have to make sure to be just really proactive, and I think those are the type of people that would be very much nurtured here. But if you're shy, I'm sure, if you're not as outgoing, I'm sure you'll be fine here too, but maybe that's not the way to go.
This is gonna sound like I'm really trying to sell this law school, but I have friends who are all so different that I can't see anybody really not being happy here. It's challenging, but it's challenging in a really kind of friendly way. We all help each other out. If your computer crashes before finals, people will have discs for you with their own personal outlines. People are outgoing, some people are shy. I can't really say that anybody, unless if you don't like sunshine, don't come here.
What advice do you have for prospective students?
I think a
Right.
lot of the time students get caught up in like ranking and
Yeah.
and you know
Yeah.
top, whether it's top 10 or top 20, and money, that they forget like the smaller things that could play on you. Like, how's the transition going to be like for you as a first year? You need the least stress possible
Right.
in your life. And if that means, you know, you're going to have to stay at somewhere on the East Coast because moving to the West Coast is going to be too stressful for you, then that's something you should really consider. Forget ranking. If you do terrible your first year because the transition was too tough for you, it's going to mess up
Right.
the next 2 years that you're there.
Right, and that's not going to matter.
Yeah, so I think the key is like getting in contact with someone at the school that's not an administrator but like a faculty and a student, so that you could get some perspective on how that transition is going to be for you like that first year.
If you go to a top 20 school, you're going to a great school and you'll have great opportunities. I think it's very important to take a look at the community that the law school provides, because those people will be your colleagues, they'll be your connections, they'll be your closest friends in your life. And those two things are really important. You know, what you'll pursue in your career and how the school may allow you to help you do that, and then who are the people you're going to get to know while you're doing that and while you're growing.